It was just, I'll flip on Jocks, get a little bit of, they talk about the entire SEC. It's got that Auburn, Alabama lean to it because they're down there in Birmingham naturally. But they talk about all the other teams. They talk about what they think everybody's going to do. They breaking down the schedules. They going in depth on rosters and, all the stuff that everybody's trying to do this time of year in anticipation for the football season. So I flipped it on, and I guess he was kind of doing a best case scenario for Florida because everybody knows how brutal that schedule is, and I guess he was trying to glass half full Florida schedule, and he was like, if things break right, and why? Who's to say they couldn't be 5-0 going into Neyland Stadium against Tennessee? If they get Miami, then they can be 5-0. It's possible in this, this, and okay. And then he says, I don't have the schedule pulled up, but whoever's after Tennessee, I'm not as fast as Aaron Gershon and pulling these things
Let's
up.
see. Here we go.
But he would say each team on the schedule and then break down a little explanation as to why they can win it or why
Kentucky looks like it's after Tennessee.
Yeah. Okay, so after beating Tennessee, then you play a Kentucky team that you dominated, and of course, we all know the history between Kentucky and Florida. We don't have to pull up the Winsipedia to know how lopsided that is. I watched the 73-7 games, the 65-0 games, the games that were over in the first quarter. That's we all know. From our account, the little Believe in Kentucky account, follow us there too. What did I say? I just said something to the effect of, if I can find it, Cole said that Kentucky dominates Florida head-to-head. And that's absolutely true. Absolutely true. You'd be crazy to argue that. But, again, we're talking about two things can be true at the same time. Yeah. Has Billy Napier had anything at all to do with that? Absolutely not. Because he's winless against Kentucky. That all that happened before Billy Napier, as we know. That's all I was saying.
Yep.
And so they come back, I think, from commercial. Let me see if I got it right here. And I'll just play it. Because he thought that we were upset by just tweeting that in.
I didn't realize they talked about it. I knew they tweeted.
You're saying that Kentucky dominated the Florids, 94-5. Cole Cubelic, Craig McElroy in studio at Mac and Cube. You can tweet in. Text in 205-834-9450. Apparently, I have upset the Believe in Kentucky Sports Network. Oh, dear. Saying that Kentucky dominated the Florids, or had been dominated by Florida in that series. Dare you? Should we check the Winsipedia page on that one? And what Stoops has done has been great in recent memory, but the point was that all time that has been lopsided in favor of Florida. Auburn's annual kickoff.
So, first of all, I wasn't upset. Second of all, in the tweet, I said Cole has said Florida dominated the series versus Kentucky. Absolutely true, which they have. We know they have. My only thing was Billy Napier didn't do any of that. That was my whole thing. Billy Napier has a better record against Tennessee than he does against Kentucky.
This is true.
Exactly. Shaq was the most dominant player we've ever seen. He was also a terrible free throw shooter. Two things can be true at the same time. That's all I was saying. So then I just I've just said nobody's upset, Cole. Not arguing the all-time stats. We know the ugly Wikipedia history well. Just saying that Billy Napier hasn't contributed a single thing to that. In this "What have you done for me lately" world, he hasn't done anything versus UK. Are we in a "What have we done for me lately" society or not?
We are, in my mind. Yes, I absolutely. And yeah, look, I don't think anyone in Kentucky ever will argue. Kentucky will never catch Florida in the all-time series. It's I don't even know if they'll be playing football at the point when by the time to give them enough time to do that. I mean, it's 53-21. It's not.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen. But yeah, I mean, Billy Napier's 0-2, and
That's it.
by a scoring margin of a combined, let's do quick math here, 35 points. So hasn't really been all that close. And look, Kentucky has won the last 3. They've won 4 of the last 5, right? 4 of the last 6. I'm sorry, 4 of the last 6. So yes, Florida owns the all-time series, and they owned Kentucky from quite literally from 1987 to 2017. But it is a what have you done for me lately business we're talking about. And it's just like you know, Tennessee basketball I would say has been even with Kentucky the last 6 years, right? I don't think any of us would dispute that. I don't know what the head-to-head record is. I think Rick Barnes has a winning record against Tennessee. So that would be like Kentucky fans being like, well, we are not even Kentucky fans, just people like, well, Kentucky leads the all-time basketball series with Tennessee by 100. Well, lately Tennessee's been really good. So there you go. To show we're not hypocritical. It's the same. That's the same point that you're making there, Vinny. So they took it the wrong way.
Yeah. And I knew give us something to talk about. But yeah, as far as Kentucky, Tennessee would have to sweep the season series against Kentucky for like the next 40 years.
It's 161-78.
They would have to sweep. They'd have to sweep the next 42, 43 years.
Right, exactly. Even. So you could make the same argument that, Kentucky owns Tennessee all the time. But recent history in the Rick Barnes era, Tennessee's gotten the best of Kentucky. So it's the same thing. It's the same thing as UK and Florida football.
Yeah. Right? And so I wasn't upset. He was going best case scenario as far as, Florida, in a perfect world, everything stars aligned. Could they do all this? And so I wasn't upset. I was just pointing out that Billy Napier hadn't added to the all-time domination at all. Could Florida beat Kentucky this year? Yeah. Could Florida get revenge for Ray Davis dropping 2 bills on them in the first half in Kroger Field last year? Yeah, it can happen. But as we stand now, July 24th at 10:18 p.m., Billy Napier is winless against Kentucky. And that's all I was saying. He took it as us being upset, but if so, But I like Cole, man. I like his analysis. I think he's a cerebral dude. That you
he's
have
great.
Fun hanging out with.
There was a misunderstanding there, and it wasn't. It was just look. I don't think anyone in Gainesville deny what's going on right now. To them, they think it's completely unacceptable how. Kentucky's taking 3 in a row from them. So,
and if you were to flip it, had he been going glass half empty Florida schedule, the schedule is brutal. I don't know how Billy's gonna make it. I don't know. And then you go and get beat down by Tennessee, and then you play a Kentucky team that's had their way the past 3 times. The Florida fans would be like, "We still own them," So
Florida's going like 4-8. I mean,
I get it. I get it. He's on the air every day. And there's probably people coming at him all the time. And there's probably times where you feel like you can't say anything without people coming at you. Sure. So either way, but, I ain't mad at Cole. We ain't mad at Cole Cubelic. I like him on SEC Network. I like him on the radio. That's why I tune in down there when I can. But we just had to talk about the little tweet. I guess it just hit him wrong or something. But
I'm sorry.
We ain't mad at Cole Cubelic. Come on now.
No, it was